I'm Gabby, and today we're going to be doing a funky flow. We're going to begin at the back of our mat. Feet can be together or hips distance apart. Hands are at our side, and just take a moment to connect with your breath, to start finding your rhythm, setting your pace, feeling everything turn on and get ready. Make a fist and begin to open and close that fist. And as you do, we're going to raise our hands out in front of us, opening and closing, raising them all the way up until we get overhead, opening and closing, pumping, and shake them out. Cactus those arms 90 degrees out to the side for some standing cat-cows. We inhale and open the chest wide, spreading. Exhale, hollow it out, spread the scapula, bring the forearms together. Inhale, open up. Exhale, hollow out. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Circle those arms up, interlace the fingers, pointer fingers extend out. Shift your weight onto that right foot. That left is going to cross over and slightly in front of the right as we lean towards the left for a side stretch. Same thing, other side, back to center. The back foot comes around front and crosses over. We lean to the right. Back to neutral. That back foot is going to come to the inside of your standing thigh, tree pose. That left foot is going to now come back down and cross over, and we find tree on the other side. Bring that right foot over in front of the mat, left foot joins, release the hands, forward fold. Knees can be bent or straight. And just kind of walk it out here, bending your knees and straightening them, loosening up. Spread your feet so they're hips distance apart. Left hand comes down to the mat, slightly in front of that left foot. Bend the left knee and open up to the right. Right arm extends up. Right hand down to the mat, slightly in front of that right foot. Bend that knee and open to the left. Both hands down to the mat. You're going to come up on your tiptoes and get really heavy on your hands, shifting your weight forward, feeling your body weight on your hands, and then tiptoe slowly and find down dog. Walk it out here for a moment. Up on your tiptoes, drop those heels to the left. Lift them back up and drop them to the right. Lift them back up in the center. Bring your knees to your chest for like a modified child's pose in the air. And bring your feet back to down dog. And here we're going to roll through to chaturanga. So we're going to drop the elbows. We're not coming onto our forearms, but we're shifting our weight forward onto our hands, finding chaturanga with a small up dog, rounding the back, and finding down dog. One more time to roll through. Drop those elbows as you shift forward onto your hands, chaturanga, small up dog, and downward facing dog. Knees to the ground, find that tabletop, sit back on your heels, child's pose. I'm very much about building up the power and then releasing it. It's like waves. Keep your forearms on the ground as you lift up into a forearm tabletop. Tuck those toes and find dolphin and walk it out here. Dolphin, push up, nose between your hands on the mat or as close as you can and push back up. One more time, dolphin push up, nose between the hands. and back up. Lift those elbows, downward facing dog. Inhale that right foot out behind you. Open that hip. Breathe into this hip for just a moment. And then this all kinds of happens together. We're gonna come up on our tippy toes. We're gonna begin to shift into plank, bringing our knee towards our nose. And then we're gonna extend our leg, stepping to the outside of our left hand. Drop that back heel, lift the left arm up for rock star. And slowly pivot so that you can sit back in a wide-legged stance. Hands go behind you, feet together in front of you. Lift those hips, reverse plank. Bring them back down to the mat. Legs back in a straddle. Your hands are gonna come back into that downward dog position on the mat. You're gonna spin onto those back toes into this modified rock star. That extended leg is going to hover for a moment and step it back to three-legged down dog. Shift forward into plank, chaturanga, and here we're gonna jump and switch our legs. Left is now lifted, plank, downward facing dog. Open that hip and breathe here for a moment. Come up on the tiptoes of that back leg, begin to shift forward into plank, knee towards your nose. We extend that leg and step to the outside of the right hand. Drop that back heel, right arm goes up, rock star. Sit back into that wide-legged stance. Hands come behind us, legs together. Lift those hips, reverse plank. Back to the mat, spread those legs. Hands in that down dog position on the mat. Spin onto those back toes. Hover that extended leg and bring it all the way through. Three-legged down dog. Step them together for regular down dog, knees to the mat, tabletop, sit back, child's pose. Two more breaths. Lift the chest round the back, coming into a tabletop. Tuck those toes, lift the hips, down dog. Inhale that right leg back. Shift forward into a three-legged plank. Lower to a three-legged chaturanga jump switch so that the left is now raised. Push back up to a plank. And we're gonna shift to our right and open up for a side plank. That top leg, whoop. That top leg can hover or come back on top. And here it's gonna get a little bit tricky. So we're gonna bring our left arm to the mat, left hand to the mat, spinning onto our toes, coming onto our forearm, and shifting to open up to the left, forearm side plank. That right hand comes back to the mat, we spin onto our toes, lift up into a plank, extend that left leg behind you, lower to chaturanga, jump switch. Right leg is now raised. Push back up to a plank, open to the left, side plank. Right hand comes down to the mat as we spin onto our toes, forearm down and open to the right for a forearm. Whoop. Left hand down, spin onto your toes, come up into a plank, extend that right leg, chaturanga, jump switch to the left, push back up to a plank, and make your way to a three-legged down dog. Stay here for a moment, catch your breath, and we're gonna step through to lunge. So knee to nose, step it between your hands, and inhale to lift up into a lunge. Grab a hold of your opposite elbows and breathe here for a moment. Circle those arms around and in front of you as if you're pulling yourself forward. Our weight is gonna shift into that front foot as we stand, bringing that back leg knee to chest. Cactus those arms out to your side. Open the knee up to the side. Knee to tricep. 1, 2, 3. Slowly step it back to lunge. Open up into a wide-legged stance. Lower cactus arms and goddess. Straighten your legs back up to that wide-legged stance and turn towards the back of your mat. Find lunge. Grab a hold of those opposite elbows and breathe here for a moment. Circle those arms around and in front as if you're pulling yourself forward. Weight shifts onto that front leg as we step forward, bringing that back leg knee to chest. Cactus those arms. Open that hip out to the side. Knee to tricep. 1, 2, 3, and step it back to a lunge. Hands come down to the mat, framing the foot, step back, downward facing dog. Knees to the mat, sit back and find child's pose for just a moment. Two more breaths. Lift the chest as you roll forward. Untuck those toes, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. And so here, we're gonna get a little funky. You're gonna bring that left elbow down to the mat, coming onto the whole forearm. That right hand is gonna slide back, kind of in line with the elbow. You're gonna have to play around with the best position for you. That right knee is gonna come to the back of the right tricep. Get it as high up as you can. Begin to lean forward, gazing in the distance. Find that center of balance and begin to fly for a funky flying peacock. Come back down to the mat. That bent leg is going to extend behind us. We're going to lift that elbow, come up onto both hands carefully, and begin to walk back, coming up on our fingertips into your modified warrior 3. Bend that leg and begin to sit as you bring your leg through and forward. Pistol squat. Hands can stay on the mat or they can be out in front of you. You're going to bring that extended leg to the mat into a squat. Shift your weight onto that right foot as we extend the left. Left foot is going to lead as we roll into a lunge on our knee. Arms up. Lift that back leg, finding your lunge. Hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Walk it out here for a second. Catch your breath. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to drop that right elbow coming onto the forearm. Left hand is going to slide back so we're slightly in line with the elbow. Maybe you extend that left leg behind you and come up on the tippy toes so that it helps you get that knee a little bit higher on the tricep. You're going to lean forward, neck is long as we fly. And step back down that extended leg, that bent leg extends behind you, Lift the elbow, come up onto both hands. Walk back to that modified warrior 3. Bend that knee and begin to lower and bring it through to a pistol squat. Hands on the mat or hands out in front of you. And hold it here for a moment and step back into your squat. Shift your weight onto the left as we extend the right out in front of us. That was good, good job. So you're gonna cross that right leg over the left and just kind of roll forward into a tabletop here. And now we built up all that power, we are going to release it. We're gonna do some cat-cows just to work out any kinks that may have built up. Do some wiggles. Hips and chest can move in opposite directions. You could do regular cat-cow, but these are gentle. Come into tabletop. and drop your neck. Maybe even round your back a little bit and spread the scapula and allow gravity to just hang here for a sec. And come back to neutral. Tuck those toes. Begin to walk your way back to a squat. Hands to heart. Sit back on your butt. And if you can keep your toes on the mat pointed. Try not to touch the mat the barest amount, or lift them in the air. Give yourself a really big hug. And release.